Bill O'Reilly did a hilarious rant the other night where he said he wants to convince the Pope that a giant border wall is super Christian.
Very much like to speak with him. And if I can arrange that, I would like to bring the family of Kate Steinle with me. I would explain to Francis the facts about the murder of the 32-year-old Kate. I would tell him that because the U.S. government will not secure the southern border of the United States, a Mexican career criminal was able to illegally enter America 6 times after being deported 5 times. For decades, this man sold narcotics on the streets and was ultimately protected by the corrupt city and county of San Francisco, which allowed the illegal alien criminal freedom. Result, he shot and killed Kate. Then after all of that, I would point out to the Pope that the U.S. Congress was incapable of passing Kate's law, giving authorities more power to control illegal aliens who commit aggravated felonies in this country. Finally, I would suggest to Pope Francis that millions of Americans have been harmed economically by our immigration system, which desperately needs reform. I think I could persuade the Pope that providing protection and enforcing settled law is certainly not unchristian. What is against the tenets of Jesus is to allow chaos that harms innocent people, like Kate Steinle and her family. What I believe might infuriate Jesus is politicians who are sworn to uphold laws ignoring their oaths in pursuit of power and votes. When human beings are being harmed, Christians have a sacred duty to try to stop that harm.
Right, so you're in favor of Syrian refugees. When human beings are being harmed, Christians have a sacred duty to try to stop that harm. Unless you're a Syrian refugee. Then you can fuck off. So, okay, Bill. Again, let's take your words and say, I take it you're in favor of anti-poverty programs? When human beings are being harmed, Christians have a sacred duty to try to help them. Anti-poverty programs, yes, no, maybe so. How about universal health care? Who would Jesus deny health care to? That's my question for Bill O'Reilly. This guy's hilarious because he shamelessly makes stuff up, but then he argues it in a super confident way to the point where he convinces his silly audience. Or I should say his really, really old audience. His audience on average is about 70 years old. So here's the thing, Bill. We don't need to speculate. We don't need to give opinions on this. We actually can go to the thing that you say is a holy book, the Bible, which represents your religion, and we can see what they think on the issue of immigration. So here we go. Leviticus 19, lines 33 to 34, quote, "When a stranger sojourns with you in your land, you shall not do him wrong. You shall treat the stranger who sojourns with you as the native among you, and you shall love him as yourself." Love immigrants as you love yourself and treat them like they're Americans. In our context, that's what that means. Treat them like they're you, like they're somebody from your land, like they're native among you. More, Matthew 25:35. "For I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you welcomed me." Exodus 22:21. "You shall not wrong a sojourner or oppress him, for you were sojourners in the land of Egypt." Interesting. Deuteronomy 27:19. "Cursed be anyone who perverts the justice due to the sojourner, the fatherless, and the widow." Hebrews 13:2. "Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unaware." In other words, you don't know what the fuck they've been through, so you as a Christian need to stand up for them and fight for them and show them hospitality. Ezekiel 47:22, you shall allot it as an inheritance for yourselves and for the sojourners who reside among you and have had children among you. They shall be to you as native-born children of Israel. With you they shall be allotted in inheritance among the tribes of Israel. You know what that one means, right? Take your money, split it up among all the immigrants. You want to be biblically correct, Bill O'Reilly? Please be my guest. You got a lot of that money. And finally, we have Mark 12, lines 30 to 31. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. The second is this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. There is no other commandment that is greater than these. It does not say, Mr. O'Reilly, love your neighbor as you love yourself unless they happen to be an undocumented immigrant. Then fuck them. Doesn't say that. You made it up. So in conclusion here, let me just say real quick. These are the guys who, when you call out their bigotry and you call out their xenophobia, and you say, hey man, what the fuck? Why would you? They go, well, no, we're not generalizing. We're not being bigoted. We're not being xenophobic. We're not blaming all of them. But wait a second. You're pointing it to a case where an undocumented immigrant killed somebody. Are we against that? Literally all of us are against that. None of us want that to have happened. But what Bill O'Reilly is doing is he's saying, take one undocumented immigrant who committed a crime and punish all of them, do collective punishment, and do a massive generalization and pretend like, they're criminals, they're bad guys. That's just how they are. That's the kind of policy you want to implement. You're taking one instance and saying, let's make policy totally based off that instance. But see, Bill, that is a generalization. That is bigoted. That is xenophobia. That is stupid. That's just as narrow-minded as taking one undocumented immigrant who has a perfect record and saying, that's it. So we have to treat everybody as if they're this one perfect undocumented immigrant that in every way, shape, and form is contributing to society and being productive. No, the answer, in my view, and this has nothing to do with Christianity, but it's just my take is, look, you have to be reasonable about it. Am I in favor of getting rid of, deporting, kicking out all of the criminals who are undocumented immigrants? Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. But for the ones who are here and they've established a life and they're doing nothing but abiding by the laws and being productive and going in the right direction and trying to create a better life for their families. Am I in favor of kicking them out? No, because that is massively heartless and stupid, and it is based off bigotry and xenophobia and a generalization where you just assume, hey, one committed a crime, so I guess I'm going to punish all of them for it. The response to this is, let's look at the stats. There are 12 million now undocumented immigrants in the U.S. What percentage of them, like Donald Trump, they're rapists. I assume some are good people, but they're rapists. Really? What percentage of them committed rape of the 12 million here? Please. Once you look at the data, once you look at the information, once you get the facts, you go, oh, what are we doing here? And especially when you guys say you want to look at it through a Christian perspective, no. You're bullshitting yourself if you pretend like Jesus would have been right there with you on the Rush Limbaugh, Bill O'Reilly position of, what are we going to do? Oh my God, big border wall. That is the opposite of what Jesus would have wanted.